was one of the most boring hours ever.
You didn't do anything productive with it?
Huh?
You didn't do anything productive with your hour?
No, it was fun. I'm just kidding.
Okay. Well, I did something productive with my hour at 8.
Mm,
Stretched a little.
nice.
Watched some Thursday Night Football. Stretched some more. Looked at some news. Watched some YouTube. Learned what CrossFit was.
Yeah, I wanted to see that, but I couldn't.
Yeah.
I'm sure the stream would have enjoyed it, but
So I've just become an instant reliable fan. I was looking at the match communications. They're talking about servers that they want and who should rent from where. And Arya says, Texas,
we're all
please.
West Coast.
We're all from West Coast. I was like, oh, I got a new team. That's my guy. Those are my guys. So, reliable Kurt Rambis fan club, very highly ranked team. Should point out that they are, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, the number 1 and 3 seed, numbers 1 and 4 seed.
One
I'm gonna check right now.
Oh, I'm not sure where reliable sits, but I know Kurt Rambis is number 1. Yes.
Let's find that out. Kurt Rambis.
Reliable should be up there, yeah.
It's 1 and 6 seed. It's a .351 CPI. 10 matches played. 9 matches won. Reliable.
Who
Sporting.
did Kurt Rambis fan club lose to, by the way? Was
Let's
it
check that
Complexity?
out. Wouldn't be terribly surprised. The one loss is to XPG, Extreme Professional Gaming.
What?
16-14.
What's their record?
XPG may no longer be in the league.
Oh.
I think either they lost enough games to realize that they couldn't be competitive this season and dropped, or they have the 2 forfeit losses, or they disbanded somehow, but they are not in here. And I would know because they had that cool eagle emblem. Remember that thing?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. Remember, this is going to be something like an 8 to 12 team tournament, an 8 to 12 team playoff tournament. So we got people sitting on the outside, very good teams sitting on the outside looking in, and it's looking like they only got a couple weeks to get their ships in order. Some noteworthy teams sitting on the outside, Clay.
Mm-hmm.
Notorious,
Okay.
I Buy Power,
Yes.
Go Berserk, Complexity, Arctic Gaming, Long and Hairy. There's a number of good teams that are outside looking in. They've got, I mean, I understand there are a couple of matches that need to be played. They've got to make those up to avoid disqualification, and they've got to start winning now, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm sure I have just a strange feeling that we'll see Complexity and I Buy Power in the playoffs, but how Notorious, they haven't really been doing too well, so I mean last match they played, actually they looked like they were getting back into form, so maybe they're getting it going. And
So let me have you field this question. Packet J from the chat says, option to use medium 480p stream quality, please.
yeah, we would. Sorry,
We would love
but
that.
we're working on that. If you go ahead and give us a follow, that would definitely help get us to that point. We're trying to get partnership, obviously. And once we
What
get
Clay
partnership,
is trying to say is that we can't provide you medium
Yes.
quality streaming. We
Yes.
have to stream at source quality because the majority of our viewers can watch high quality video, and we don't want to deprive them of that ability. What we can do is tell you that following us helps us build a better case for applying for Twitch partnership that will give us the ability to give you multiple resolutions. What you're familiar with is the source, high, medium, that sort of thing. We don't have that yet because we don't have enough followers, and we are building toward that. So give us a follow if you do like what we do. We certainly appreciate it, and we hope that you stick around despite your resolution difficulties. If it becomes a difficulty, some browsers will allow you to right-click on any flash-driven streaming video and lower the quality manually. Search in your actual window. Right-click on the window. I'm not even kidding. Highlight the button that says quality and choose low, medium, or high. And sometimes it behaves the exact same way. So if you need that, look for that.
Stream Secrets by Brandon Cox.
Yeah. Well, yeah. That IP is correct. However, I just got that, so I would tell you that maybe 2 minutes from now, the server, which is on a delay, will have actually have players populating it. This one, like I said, Clay, is the number 1 seed versus the number 6 seed, and the number 6 seed in this particular case is probably one of the favorites to win it all. They could go deep in the playoffs. I think anybody would give Reliable that much credit. Their losses thus far are only 2 forfeit losses and 1 actual loss to Complexity, a loss of 16-9.
Okay, yeah, so not too bad of a go against probably the best North American team, split between iBuyPower, I guess. But yeah, I mean, I think they are probably one of the favorites, like you said, and I mean, Kurt Rambis fan club is going to have their work cut out for him in this match, I would say. It's not going to be a walk in the park for him, but I think they definitely are capable of taking the win. So I mean, they've been playing good, and they've been taking it to teams who have been doing well previously. So
It's very, very true. A couple of teams that we lost along the way, I've noticed looking back through these match histories. Power Players Club,
yeah,
right?
they dropped out. Frost Gaming dropped out.
And so did Solid Frag.
Solid Frag, yeah,
Their losses. Their losses.
it is.
There is a considerable amount of league improvement that we know of that we can't really talk about. We have reason to believe that the league is expanding. We'll go at a rate that we're all going to find quite comfortable coming in upcoming seasons. And the smart teams, the prudent teams, have decided to stick it out in case they have the opportunity to make it into the next round, the invitational level of play. And I think they will be rewarded in upcoming weeks.
Yep. It's going to be exciting to see the playoffs. I think that'll be an exciting time. We should have some good matches coming up for the playoffs, and yeah, should be some good CS all around for that. So I think we're 2-3 weeks out, I believe.
Of the playoffs?
Yeah.
Well, it's 6-2, right? The final regular season game is going to be 8-2, and then we'll have a week delay between the end of the season to the beginning of the playoffs, and that would mean that we would have 3 weeks exactly before we see a playoff game.
Yes, correct.
And deep into the playoffs, I am hoping to see some Kurt Rambis fan club. I'm hoping to see some Reliable.
Well, Kurt Rambis, you said deep, yeah. I was going to say they should be in playoffs regardless, but yeah.
I'm hoping to see some Reliable, Exertus, and iBuyPower and Complexity.
We'll see some Exertus. I don't know if we'll actually get to see them, but
We'll hear about how they did.
we'll hear about them, yeah.
Well, great story, guys. Is this a makeup? Is this this could be. It's on season at the moment,
so.
but it should not be. This week is Train, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it says it's 6-2 for Train, so maybe the server just starts on season and needs to switch, but
We've got a conversation that we should bring up, right? We actually have heard that we're going to be getting an update, and I'm going to jinx it badly right now. We're getting an update on DE Tuscan fairly soon. Apparently, according to the quote, it should be almost immediately after the Thanksgiving holiday. So that's this week. And if we haven't gotten it yet, it's got to come soon. And Brood, if you don't give me that map, I'm going to learn how to use the hammer editor, and I'm going to make DE Tuscan right under your nose.
You're going to make DE Tuscan?
Because I taught myself Photoshop, and I figure hammer editor is not too far away.
The CO version?
Yeah. Oh God, I was like, oh, it's gonna be the NZ version. I was like,
nope,
nobody knows what that is.
It's not going to be the NZ version. It will never be the NZ version ever again.
You want to know something really embarrassing? So I tried to type in that ID, the name that I do not use any longer, because I got a Wii U. I got a Wii U because my stepmother. Yeah, my stepmother and my father paid for it, like a nice gift for me. I'm not quite sure why they did. I guess it's an early Christmas gift. But I had to make a Nintendo ID. So my Nintendo ID, I typed in my name, the name that I wanted to have. It was taken. I couldn't use it. So I went with Cotton. And it's spreading.
It's spreading throughout all the different gaming forums. Yep.
In my Battlefield ID is now Cotton. My Steam ID has always been Cotton, and for the last however long you guys have known me, now my Nintendo ID is Cotton. Very concerned. Very, very concerned.
Actually, I'm hearing right now, or not hearing, reading that it's going to be 12 teams in the playoffs, and there should be an update next week regarding that with more information. So
Well, last week we heard next week, and the week before that we heard next week, and the week before that we heard next week. So the truth of the matter
Wow.
is that you're not getting Tuscan. You're better off.
No, I was talking about playoffs.
Oh, yeah. Well, playoffs is great. I was talking about Tuscan.
Yeah.
You're better out. You're better off asking.
You know, and I don't really care about Tuscan. I want to hear when is Cobble coming? When is Fire coming?
Nobody except for you and I want that map. So what are we gonna do about it? I guess we could just whine to Valve.
Maybe-
I mean, we have an open channel with the developers. We could just call in a couple. We'd be like, guys, listen. Cobble.
Just port Cobble over from Source like they did with Contra.
I got people joining the server now, so it's a good sign that we're in the right one. Only 3 in, so maybe I'll give you an update when the time is ready.
We
Cobble.
played in a Fire pub the other week.
Oh, fire!
What?
My God, link me to the. I will join you. I'll be the strat caller. I remember my entire playbook, like right here, out of my temples.
When we were playing, we either didn't get to Fire. I don't think we got to Fire. So I didn't see. We didn't have any plays. Yeah.
I think in Source we never made it to a fire match. My fire experience is primarily from my time in 1.6,
Mm-hmm.
and it was cool.
I also want Prodigy.
Nobody wants to play Prodigy.
Oh, you know you liked Prodigy.
Prodigy's fun because I like Counter-Strike, not because I like the map Prodigy.
I liked Prodigy.
You like Prodigy because you're the designated opper. There's only one role for that map, and if that guy has to be an opper, he's the only one that gets to have any fun that
He
particular
gets
game.
all the kills over at that long hallway with the boxes. I can't remember what we called it.
Of course, if you lose that Prodigy game, there's only one person to blame.
The opera.
Because there's no one else that contributes.
But we didn't lose, did we? Nope. We
Nope.
beat the #1 ranked team in our division.
Roy carried us.
Roy.
And we won. Yeah.
BS.
Well, it is Train. I was trying to tell you that. It was season. Map changed to Train. I got Arya in here. Crucify, Carl, Big Daddy, Dubs.
Alright, I'm going to be connecting right now. I just say wait above the vent and wait for the T side to walk under. Prodigy.
Oh my God! Yes. And you always had to check vents. Like you couldn't just walk forward. You'd have to be walking down that hallway, and then you get right under. You're like, okay, looking straight up, and then you look straight up. You're like, okay, I checked it this time, and then you look down, and somebody's shooting at you.
Yeah, or you could boost up one of your teammates into the vents.
Yeah,
That's always fun.
meta. Not
Meta.
really. No, the maps that need to return: Fire, Cobble or Forge, Tuscan or Mill. I'll throw one more in there if they can just condense the size of the map a little bit. I like Contra a lot.
Didn't we have wasn't there a mill last season?
No, that was ESEA.
That was ESCA.
Yeah, there actually may have been a mill last season.
I think
can't
there was.
can't totally remember. I remember.
With a new entrance into B, remember? It was like
Well, we
redone to B.
know what mill looks like. We don't know what the league was playing. We casted a lot. We've casted a lot.
Yeah, we did. We're the village bicycle of Counter-Strike.
Yeah. Well.
Vindicator
says,
with a no clip, like every match.
United 5. Complexity is 10-9 for U5 right now. U5 is very, very talented, and I know this is sort of an excuse to give them more credit than they deserve because they don't put in the time to practice anymore. But if they did put in the time to practice, they would be so good. They just have lives. They're employed.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they have obligations and significant others. It's just when you have that tying you down, it's very, very difficult to be a high-level esport player like the professional teams today, especially given today's commitments are even more grandiose than they were before. You got traveling, interviews, games and practices, boot camping, gaming houses, sponsorship obligations, plural, to take care of. It's at a bigger scale than it was before.
Yeah, it certainly is, and it takes a lot more dedication than just playing casually, weeknights after work to be competitive nowadays, I think. But oh well.
The thing, and I don't typically like being the lemming. I don't like agreeing with everybody just because they say it. But this one rings particularly true. Excuse me,
What?
particularly true with me when I watch U5 is there are just those moments.
Where you
Nine-
you get flashback to the old
Yes,
days.
yes, but I'm going to be very specific. 90% of the time, I'm like, fraud. What has happened? Like, what? Why did you fall off so hard? And then there's this one moment, this one round, where if it was anyone else, you would be like, well, what a crazy fluke. But it happens once per game. It happens once or twice per game, and you're like, is he back? And then the next round he lets you down again.
Oh,
Like,
no, not yet.
damn it!
Yeah.
Yeah. Anybody who is a U5 fan and watches U5 or Old Complexity, they know exactly what I mean.
Yeah,
It is heartbreaking.
Yeah.
It's heart.
Like Vindicator just said in chat, the fact that they are still competitive and they don't even practice that much is impressive. It certainly is. I mean, honestly, if they played, like, if they were able to boot camp and do Gamer House and everything like that, if they didn't have their full-time jobs, I'm sure they would just be wrecking faces, but, you know.
And the additions to their roster, by the way, Moses and XP3, exceptionally good players. Very, very good players.
Yeah, absolutely. After DreamHack, I figured Call would be winning everything. They did look really, really strong in DreamHack, especially taking on Very Games and coming out with that win. That was impressive, I thought.
Let's point out one thing, that they did very well against some European teams, but European teams play very, very differently from American teams, and success rate there is a good indicator, but not biblically like set in stone that you're going to do better everywhere. I think the casters at DreamHack did a great job pointing this out. It's just aiming versus like subtle play meta that you have to. It's heavily weighted for aiming in America. And if you don't hit your shots in America, it's not going to do you any favors.
Yeah, exactly. So we got 8 in the server, waiting on 2 more to join. I believe. Oh, I wish we had a feed for Mo's stream or Mo's audio.
Just to tap him in.
Yeah, like you said, you know how with the NFL they do the mics on the field or whatever.
Yes.
Just like oh, we could assume Mo was mad on that round. Let's go ahead and check the feed on that.
Did you all see Mo freaking out at who was it? Was it Flowsick or? I can't even remember who it was.
I don't remember, but I saw the clip and I thought he had every right to freak out. So.
but this was before his teammate failed. This is when it was a one-on-one. He's like, I can't watch this. I'm leaving, and he left the server. And I just died. I laughed so hard. I was like gasping.
I like how he left the server and he came back. He's like, no, I don't have any money. It's like, yeah, you left the server. What do you expect?
And he makes fun of his teammates. He's like, at one point you had 35 bullets, man. And you reloaded. You were afraid of him. He's like, I wasn't afraid. He's like, you are afraid.
Oh, always a good time.
I am having difficulty identifying who's Colin.
Colin is on Kurt Rambis fan club.
Okay, all right. I just want to make sure that that's not a reliable player because he was on the wrong team.
No. I don't know.
Yes, that sounds like work.
Rush Kurt Rambis fan club, or is that reliable?
No, Rush is one of the alternate players on reliable.
Okay.
Mo is Mo.
Mm-hmm.
We typically see Arya in here. We typically see Flowsick in here. And as of late, we've been seeing Jay Mitchell a bunch in here.
Yeah, and I believe Flowsick is the one who usually gets off work late, which is the reason why Reliable has to play so late. So we might be waiting on him here.
4-on-4 Counter-Strike. Jay Mitchell now in the server. Actually, I was speaking while I was maximizing. He has connected in the 30 seconds that I minimized. All right, let's do it. It's the number 1 seed versus the number 6 seed play. We know everything about Train, how it's been modified since the inception of CS:GO. A couple of additions, including a new Train inner, some reduced space at CT Heaven, a different layout for the Brown Hall because it has the addition of the back platform now. Showers simplified a little bit. Generally,
is that one of his showers even worth mentioning?
Well, you can't hide in there for ecos anymore, or trying to preserve a gun. So there's that. It's worth mentioning, probably only to that extent. So what I was really getting at is that we kind of understand the map changes. Now we have just the basics. We need to know the teams and the players. Kurt Rambis fan club been on an absolute tear this season. They were a favorite in Open. They destroyed the playoffs and did very, very well for themselves. And now they've been knocking down doors, blowing away teams, and I'm going to let you do the honors here, Clay. They made a landmark victory the last game they played in Week 6, Match 1.
Yes, they certainly did. They beat out Exertus on Monday night. It was a really close match, actually. Exertus almost locked it up, but then Kurt Rambis fan club came in, and I think they won 16-14, I want to say. Or no, it was overtime, actually. Sorry. They won in overtime. How could I forget that? Yeah, 16... not 16 was the overtime score. I want to say 4 or 4-1 was the overtime score. But, yeah, they locked it up in OT, and it was a really close match, and... a lot of unhappy people, to say the least, on the opposite team, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah, well, these guys are very competitive people and prideful to boot. And if one thing you need to accept going into esports is that it's not always going to be a lucrative pursuit. You know, it's going to make you happy a lot of times. It's going to be a lot of fun and build great relationships, but maybe it doesn't give you a lot of cash. What it does do is, you know, the currency that can never be denied, Clay, is pride. And,
yeah, well, there was a... on a side note, there was like just a ton of trash talk going on between both teams, so it made it even more competitive for them. But yeah, we won't get into that too much because just drama. But either way.
8 in the server. We want 10. Those of you who are joining us for the very first time, thank you very much for joining us. We very much appreciate your time with us, especially given the fact that you have choices to be here. And since you are here, please do give us a follow. If you do give us follows, we have a good chance to build a case for multiple resolutions. Obviously, just to build up this channel for future events as well, because we do have a couple of good ones coming up. I'm Cotton. My partner's Klops. We'll be getting underway in just a little bit. You know what I was going to say, Clay? Let's change the title and swap the team names and use that reliable brand name to drag some extra viewers in, huh?
Sure. I'm going to alt-tab so the stream might look like it's frozen, but it most certainly is not. If you could go ahead and keep talking. I saw the Wolf just joined right before I alt-tabbed right there, so...
So something has to be said about that man. That man has a very daring name, the Wolf. You have to be very, very good or an absolute nutcase to pull off that name, and we found out that he is very, very good, and he's been good in the clutch. It's very, very fun to call a clutch situation a last man standing, an LMS situation with the Wolf, because it makes for excellent drama, and I'm expecting good things from him. A couple of patterns, if you want to learn about some of these players, guys, as we go into the playoffs, it would be prudent to know the names behind these teams. We know a lot about Reliable. You may not know a whole lot about Kurt Rambis fan club. So the Wolf, very good at one-on-ones, close situations, not typically an opper, always a far flanker, well, at least for the map that we saw.
Yeah, Colin typically plays the op role on Kurt Rambis fan club, and he is no slouch when it comes to opping. He does quite the good job there.
I think at this level, at this main division, if you've made it this far into the season, your team's still alive, and you got a positive record, you've got to have a good opper. You've got to have a lot of pieces. You got to have an entry fragger, a good support guy, a couple of good just straight fraggers, rifle fraggers, and then you've got to have a successful opper. And all the remaining teams that have positive records, some semblance of that.
Sorry, I was laughing at something RW said in chat.
What's that?
He said, Mo, what's your secret? My bench is stalled at 345. How do I get higher?
Oh my god, yeah, I just saw that.
Yeah. Aria did say that their 5th is joining. I'm sure that's going to be Flowsick here, so they should be starting up pretty soon. Someone in chat, Vindicator, giving us another update on the U5. He says match point for U5 right now, so U5 coming back and probably going to take out Complexity here, looks like.
Never really count those guys out. Never really rely on them to win a major tournament, but if you want a crazy upset on a random date, U5's good for it all the time.
Is U5 still in CEVO?
U5 never joined CEVO.
Oh, they didn't.
Actually, they had to decline. They were very interested. We had a couple of conversations with them. I talked with Storm and Warden and them, and they were talking about, yeah, we're interested. We would love to do it. And CEVO, you know, we have a good relationship with CEVO in the past, so it's not like it's foreign to us, but we have a couple of real-life working obligations where we can't actually attend.
Okay. Yeah, I just remember we casted him somewhat recently, but that must have been for a event or a tournament, so
here we
that's
go.
why I was confused. But yes, there is Flowsick. We got 5, so we should be going live right about
Let's
now.
do the rosters. Kurt Rambis Fan Club sporting on the CT side Crucify, Colin, Carl, the Wolf, and Rdub. And he is hashtagging send fat guy his mouse pad.
Yeah. I don't
Sure.
know.
For Reliable, Jay Mitchell, Rush, Arya, Mo, and Flosick. Very good game coming up, Clay. Need your prediction before we get started.
Man, this one is going to be tough. I really, honestly, I kind of want Kurt Rambis to do well, just because they're kind of the underdogs here. Because
A 9-1 underdog.
Well, because Reliables, invite reputation, they're proven. So I think they're just the underdog for that reason. But I think they definitely have a chance. But I think I'm still going to go with Reliable here in probably a close one. I'd say 16-13.
16-13 for Reliable. I like it. With the restarts coming soon, I heard a request for an L3. This isn't live. We just saw a friendly fire there. I want to go the same way. I'm going to call it, since they are starting on CT side, a close game just like you did. I'll call it 16-10 for Reliable. Kurt Rambis Fan Club is in for a fight, and they have come out on top against great odds before, specifically Exertus, the one that we are citing. It's going to be another test, and this time, perhaps the other team recognizes the fight that they're in for. So the live on 3 has happened. You're watching CEVO TV. I'm Cotton. My partner is Klops. This is Kurt Rambis Fan Club and Reliable in match 2 of week 6 in CEVO-Main. Let's take a look at the split. I'm guessing the 4-1. No, it's a 3-2. 2 leaning toward B, hoping to catch someone off guard. The way they're sprinting, Clay, tells me that they want to push and get into that hallway. They stop right before the door here. We've got a bunch of T's walking through. They're going to try to push out the players in lower B. No, here comes the entrance. They came out from mid trying to get an early push through. Rush and Arya thought that perhaps they had vacated the site to lean toward B after making some noise there, but it doesn't really matter. 2-1 trades thus far. The Wolf gone for one side. Rush and Arya down for Reliable. Oh my god. Almost died there.
You okay?
Crucify down. Yep. I just lost my... How did that happen? I just lost my HUD at the same time, so...
Hit
after
X,
this round,
maybe?
after this round, no. After this round, Clay, take it over for me.
Okay.
One more exchange, 1-1. Colin takes out Flosick. Jay Mitchell brings down Rdub. It's down to a 2-on-1. The defuse, no good. Colin's left on a 1-on-1 with Jay Mitchell. This is a round that they desperately need if they want to start off on the right foot. Colin has the right idea, steps out, combats Jay Mitchell, and loses that fight to his Glock. That one will be the first for Reliable, Clay. I'll be right back.
Yeah, that's fine. I thought that round was looking really, pretty much in favor of Kurt Rambis Fan Club right there. You saw Reliable come out, do a 2-man fake over to outer to sell that they were going to go outer, and then they had 3 members going towards inner, and the 2 guys outer just immediately got annihilated, which then the CTs were able to adjust and pretty much go towards B spawn. But yeah, I mean, Mo came up with 2 nice shots right there and was able to get the kills, and they just were able to get that bomb down and continue the momentum and secured the round nicely. So Mo actually peeking one under the train in mid connector and is doing a lot of damage to Crucify. He's down to 15 health, and he has to retreat to the CT connector. So let's take a look at the map. We see Mo is lurking, and we see 3 members of the terrorist force are actually coming out of Ivy right now as Arya picks up 1 and a second one. Crucify goes down. Flosick getting Colin, so that's a 3 for nothing trade. They're going to get this bomb planted, and that's going to leave the Wolf and Carl as the last 2 members alive. You see Flosick waiting in the ladder room. He's going to get this flank. Carl coming out. He's the last one alive, and he's going to trying to do some work with this pistol here against 5 members of Reliable, but you see it's not working out too well. Down to 16 health, stuck over at this middle bomb train, and he does finally get taken out by Jay Mitchell. So that's another round for Reliable, 2-0 so far, and we didn't see a P250 armor buy there by Kurt Rambis Fan Club, so they're going for the full save.
Yep, there's something worth pointing out. Not a single casualty for Reliable, and that's a great start because you want to build your economy on the terrorist side. One thing that we talked about in the last match is how critically important it is to make sure that you buy yourself into a round. You can't just give yourself the minimal tools that you want to try to pull off each and every round. You've got to set yourself up with smokes and flashes, and not taking casualties is one way to start building toward that.
Yeah, it definitely is. I see a nade going down from the ladder room. That's going to give away one position of a member of Reliable. And you actually look at the number one. The Wolf is pushed up in upper inner, but the push is coming through Ivy. And it's going to be a three-man take here. Are you back in?
Rush. Yeah, yeah.
Alright.
Rush takes down R-Dub, who is waiting by the bomb train. And this far flank is not being adjusted to very well by the CT side. That communication breakdown lets Crucify get shot in the back. Arya comes, checks the ladder for CT Heaven, brings down Carl, who is waiting there, hoping to get a crossing perpendicular kill. One left for the KRFC squad. That's the Wolf. Unfortunately, I don't give him much of a chance to win against an AK. He gets two tapped. Rush brings him down. The Wolf is down. 3 rounds are up. We're on to the gun rounds, and hopefully KRFC has a statement to make.
Yep, we are on the gun round. I'm imagining we're going to see Colin picking up an op here. He does, he's a little bit short on cash, but he's able to pick up the op, and he doesn't go for helmet armor. He actually only gets nades rather than a helmet. I don't know if I agree with that one.
Well, he's got a decoy, so this seems like there's a actual plan to this madness. Let's go to the number 2 man and watch him in particular. He's actually going to be lower at bomb site B, so he probably won't move from there. We're going to go back to the director and let this one pan out. A 2-2-1 split, now broken up into a 3-1-1 split. One number 9 man, Nemo, out in the middle, aggressively pushing the back of the red train, making a little bit of noise so that the bomb carrier on the opposite side of the map can push toward inner. Note that the only person defending inner actively is number 2 Colin with a swingman. Number 5, that's Crucify, coming to support him. Jay Mitchell planting will give away his position, and with that, with the bomb sound effect, gives away a free kill to Colin. Arya, what the hell was that? One tap through the smokes brings down the Wolf. Crucify will trade the Wolf out for Flowsick. It's 4-3. No bomb plant successful thanks to the heroism of Colin. Another op kill by Colin. Remember, no op. Oh, there you go. Long 2-tap by Arya. Colin, while contributing 2 kills to the round, has probably the most important weapon there, op drop. So keep an eye out for that. Let us know if a teammate picks that one up, Clay, because that will be critically important for the next round.
R-Dub did, in fact, pick it up, and I guess it doesn't matter that he didn't get that hood armor because you saw Arya just 2-tapped him really easy. But I think the reason why he didn't get it was because he was playing inner that round, which last time we saw him on train, he was actually playing in the Ivy position, which I think is probably a more exposed position, so maybe that's the reasoning for that.
It certainly could be. Arya made some disgustingly great plays that round, but Colin, in his good defense of that bomb site, made the critical stop for the bomb plant and gave that round to the CTs. So early MVP candidate for KRFC right there. One stop. Jay Mitchell crouches, fires, brings down 1. His teammates bring down 2 more. That's the Wolf and Carl. Colin and R-Dub left to clutch this round, and it's not a great situation, and R-Dub has to back out of here before he gets caught. He, at the blue train, heading back towards CT spawn, is pretty much compromised. Anybody who waits for him like Rush can easily 3-tap him, leaving the Opera Colin left to his own devices. He gets legged down to 40 health and has multiple flankers. Arya charges out blind hilariously, thinking that, well, if I'm blind, he might be blind. And he knows how silly that just looks, so he just types out Raffle and says, whatever. It's down to a 1-on-2. Colin is trying to clutch. He has almost a quad to his name, but he won't have time to defuse. He's got just enough health. If he backs himself up, maybe he won't die. There he is, 5 health remaining. That's a great way to make them rebuy at least. But, he didn't have the tandem retake, a teammate to help him do it.
Yeah, Rush was trying to be sneaky right there, going around CT spawn, but got naded out there by Colin, so he actually managed to keep his op too. And that was just that round right there was attributed to a great smoke by Reliable. They smoked off, they put a smoke right at the CT connector, which blocked off the site to ladder room, and that allowed 2 people to come out through ladder unopposed, and they were able to help pick up some kills there when they came out, so it was a good entrance by them.
Astute observation. Early trade. Mo delivers an AK to the CT side, which is on a partial save with Colin holding an op. They have, if they pick up that AK, 2 guns on the field, and Colin needs to make this kill. Has his crosshairs on target, but was unable to set his feet to land the shot. Flowsick will bring him down, and that op is now fallen. 3 CTs left, all wielding sidearms. Crucify cannot land the kill. Taken down by Flowsick all the way from blue train. Arya will no doubt bring down R-Dub, and he does. The Wolf follows soon after. It's 5-1, and the lead builds for the T side on a CT-sided map.
Yeah, and it's, 5 rounds for the Terrorists so far. That's really not looking good for Kurt Rambis fan club as of yet. But I can't speak for these guys like we do for Afterlife and say that they play better on T side. I'm not really sure if that's the case for them. So I can't really say that it's looking good for him as of yet, or that this is just standard procedure for him.
Standard procedure kind of gets thrown out the door when you're playing a team as good as Reliable. They'll get under your skin, especially given how, I guess, violent and aggressive that some of their players play. And you know which ones I'm referring to. It's always, oh, we have a dropped player,
Yes,
by the
I
way.
just noticed that. It's
We have
Mo.
a dropped Mo. Yeah. It's always very disconcerting and always very distracting when you have a setup, a play that you call. You think that maybe this will be oh, here we go, the Wolf making the big play, stepping out, bringing down Rush, grabbing his gun, killing Jay Mitchell with it, and turning an eco round into a win. Now we temper that by saying that Mo had dropped, but that was an unexpected win.
Yeah, it certainly was. I mean, with Mo gone, you can't really say how that round would have turned out if he was there, but that's going to be a win, a round win regardless, and I'm not sure why they aren't just going to go ahead and pause it, but he's actually back now, so there you go.
Yeah, that's always an option, but it seems as though Reliable has chosen to play on, thinking that they had a gun round, that they could just keep on moving the train along, but KRFC was ready. They brought down a big play there, big individual play there by the Wolf solo, pushing out to mid-connector, T-mid-connector to grab a gun and kill 2 people in the process. So we're back. Mo's back, more importantly, and it's back to a 2-2-1 split. Rush rotating back around, coming back to support his teammates. Mo stepped out from T-mid, gets sprayed down for the man at T-heaven.
Was that a freaking Negev?
That's a Negev.
What the hell?
Why not, When you got to make big plays, how better to do it than with the Negev? 2 early kills, traded out. Crucify, the Wolf, dead. Carl traded. It's down to a 1-on-3. Colin, who had made big plays before, this time is not supporting an op and has given away his position. Crouches and pre-fires Flowsick after probably hearing him coming from Electric. Had the right idea, but Flowsick had the right aim. So another round delivered to Reliable. 6-2 in the lead, extended back again to 4.
It certainly is. 6-2. 6 rounds for Terra side, though, is obviously very well, and they should be sitting pretty here. See, the counter-terrorists do have enough money to buy. Actually, it looks like some people had to buy for their teammates, and it looks like the Wolf is going to be just doing a P250 armor buy here, so he should be able to... I mean, he's not going to be useless. You can definitely give someone with that P250 and pick up a gun for yourself.
Give me a little bit of perspective here, Clay. It seems as though there's not a whole lot of science to this, that Reliable is just running over people with pure gunplay and not a whole lot of execution on strategy, or tactics, I should say. Is there something in particular that's throwing KRFC off their game right now? Because it's dramatic,
It could be the speed pushing that they're doing. They're not really, like you said, they're not really hesitating or trying to use any crazy strats. They're pretty much just throwing one set smoke to block off the ladder room. And Kurt Rambis fan club doesn't really seem to be adjusting too well to it.
It is important to have a good in-game leader to diagnose exactly what's going wrong. We'll find out if Clay's observation holds true and if it's something that's kind of holding them back. It has to be, because you can't let too many rounds slide away from you on the CT side, especially against a team as quality of Reliable here. I just got sent. I hate when this happens, when I get sent to third person for no reason.
Yeah,
Bo steps out.
Random.
Yeah, fires down to Ivy, misses the shot, had somebody lined up, but will not get it. We're back to another eco round, Clay, and this is so painful, the eco slide, right? The buy, save. You almost wish at times that you're like, just get it over with, start losing, get some money, but you don't want that to happen.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm frozen right now. Are you frozen?
I look to be frozen, yes. Pause?
It could be a pause. I hope so. Let's see. Maybe
what we should interpret this as is in the past, when we've had a random pause like this, it means that in real time in the game somebody has dropped and that GoTV is calibrating to stay in line with the delay. So maybe in the future somebody drops in this game and then...
Yeah, and they could be paused at the freeze time later on, but...
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Do you want to check match comms maybe, see if they said something in there?
Oh, yeah.
That would be a good idea.
Nothing said in there. We can always check with the players and check with our admins.
Certainly can, certainly can.
Okay, so there's got to be something to be said about speed aggression pushes, and it's less effective on train because of the nature of the map. But with shooting as crisp as it has been for this terrorist side, I'm not utterly surprised that they're kind of walking all over the less favored Kurt Rambis fan club. When you start to think about how they can counter it, they've only had a couple of chances really to showcase a full-on gun buying round. I can count maybe 2 rounds where they've fully bought comfortably with armor and nades, and in the other rounds they've kind of been shut out, partial buying, saving, doing an Eco P250 rush or something like that. It's hard for us to analyze exactly where this is happening, which is where we can start to use these new tools that we have, right, by hitting Q and bringing up these graphs and finding out exactly where these turning points are.
Yeah. Was the graphs working? Yeah, it is.
Note that at round 5, are you looking at total damage dealt, if you will?
Yes.
Note that at round 5, there's a sort of a divergent amount of damage being dealt at the round where a bomb was planted and successfully detonated. You get the most cash there, and it should be no surprise that the correlation is the total damage dealt for the terrorist side starts to escalate after that particular round. That could give us some insight, but the one I was actually going to look at is where is it? Cash amount. Because we're talking about economy and how this can impact the game, right?
Yes.
There is a spiking correlation with how much money each team has. Here is where I start to get confused, and anyone who is out there practicing advanced analytics in your workplace, explain this to me. 5, 6, 7, 8, and not 9, but 5, 6, 7, 8, 4 straight rounds where the CT economy has been strong enough to field weapons, has been strong enough to field full buys, and even surpass the purchasing power of the terrorist side. They still can't win those rounds. That's telling me that it's purely gunplay that's turning these guns.
Well, let's see. The 5th round, you see on round 4 their economy dropped down because that's the round that they bought, obviously. 5th round, since they won round 4, they actually had money. Actually, we just went back live, so we'll get into that later.
Okay, let's get back into this one. We're resuming again. Remember, it is 7-2 this round. Wow, accelerating before I can even finish talking about it. Lots of trades there. It's down to a 2-on-2. Arya and Mo facing off against Colin. Well, and Carl, who is now unfortunately dead after the event. Mo brings down Colin, leaving that a undefused, actually unexploded bomb. I was going to hope that they could get a little bit more cash there. 8-2. I had the same problem as you, Clay. I thought it was going to be 9-2 at the end of the round. Didn't happen. You had a comment to make about the metrics before we went on.
Yeah, I think the way that it calculates the cash is basically after the buy, it looks like, maybe. But yeah, the 5th round, they had money since they won that round, so they had their guns, and it just saved up steadily. So I think that's why it kind of looks a little skewed in terms of being able to have cash for those rounds.
The bomb, including Arya sprinting through Ivy, through the smoke. They'll challenge the person on the other side of the smoke. That's the number 3 man, Ardub, who turns around. Crucify brought down in the middle of the train yard. Here comes the absolute pain train. No casualties taken for Reliable at all. Absolutely dominating the hold at the outer position. Play this, there's no science to it. It's all about the fact that they're being overwhelmed with speed and aggression, and that's the hallmark of an experienced team, right? The best teams are typically not overwhelmed when they are faced with 5-man rushes. They are typically faced because they're respected more with a single-man push, a 2-man push, a setup push like a flash push, or something of the nature where they're fighting only 1 to 2 people. When you're sending 3 people and rushing blindly through smoke, this is a sort of a show of confidence. This is the we don't respect you, let's get this over with, get out of our way.
Yeah, and that's one thing the upper team, the invite level teams, they know how to deal with the speed aggression, how to stop it with nades and just setting up the angles correctly and stopping the rushes. Whereas the lower teams seem to have problems with it, and I think that's what Reliable is exploiting right now, as we've seen. But you just saw Colin dropped right there, and that had to have been the reason for the pause. So
9-2, yeah, that must have been the reason for the pause. And if we take a look at the records here, Mo, after leaving that server, comes back with a strong 4-1. Everybody on the Reliable squad performing admirably with positive records. But for the Kurt Rambis fan club, I'm not seeing any records, with the exception of RW, that are particularly bad. It seems like a lot of a lot of rounds are ending with saves and bomb detonations, not a whole lot of total deaths. Now, Colin strafing across to assist his teammate gets taken out, and so does Ardub, who was waiting in CT heaven while he was looking the wrong way. I can't really begin to imagine why he was looking that way, and the Wolf charges. The mid connector also losing his life. Carl and Crucify left trying to clutch against 5 who are fully healthy, wielding all nades, and in general in position to hold off a retake. 10-2, a convincing win there, Clay. I foresee more rounds before the end of this half, and Reliable just running away with this.
It definitely looks to be that way, and we saw Reliable actually right there slowing the pace down just a little bit. They've been going outside really hard and quick, and this time they decided to kind of hang back a little bit and just wait for picks. And you saw the CTs kind of got a little uncomfortable with it almost, and fell for it, and they actually got picked off. So it made it an easy round here, and I think Reliable has just been doing a good job winning so many rounds that the CTs just aren't doing good in terms of money.
Flowsick drops down the ladder, smartly not touching the ladder to interrupt his aim, settles his aim, drops and kills the man at ladder. Big play there, and a second big play to bring down Ardub, who is waiting at the back of the blue train near CT spawn. So 3 left for the CTs. No damage dealt at all, really, except for Jay Mitchell, who's lost about 10 HP. Another kill delivered, leaving the Wolf all by himself up in CT heaven. If you're stuck up here, you're cooped up, and you're pretty much done for the round.
Yep, you see Jay Mitchell is actually going to go try to get a knife here, and no, he just decides to take out the AK and spray him down instead. But the Wolf does go down, and that's going to make it 11-2 now in favor of Reliable.
Now, we said that some teams are on the outside looking and trying to get in the playoffs. Reliable is one of those teams that are in the playoffs and looking to stay in the playoffs. I have every bit of confidence that they will make it there. They are looking in great form tonight.
Yeah, they certainly are, and we do know that Kurt Rambis fan club should be actually locked into the playoffs with their 9-1 record. So, I mean, even if they lose this game, they don't really have too much to worry about.
Well, they have to worry about playing some really good teams.
Well, I meant in terms of staying in playoffs. Crucify, nice shot there onto Mo, but Flowsick does exchange the kill, and there's Colin picking up one for himself as well. Take it away.
There is 2 kills on the field, and Clay just called them. He is, however, not called the last 2. Carl actually was in the upper, pushed in toward Brown Halls, hid before he turned the corner. Nobody saw him, got the planter, could have started defusing, by the way. He didn't really need to identify where this last person was because his teammates would have helped clean up. Flowsick, who will charge the bomb, stop the defuse, make a huge play, but ultimately not win the round because there are just too many CTs left. It's, I'll just be frank, it's too little too late, but it's a good round.
Yeah, and I'm surprised he even got that kill onto the bomb diffuser, honestly. With 4 CTs alive, you would think they would have had that area covered, especially since the Wolf was actually dueling with the guy and had to, told his team where they're at, and they could have just all been watching that spot with one guy watching the lower entrance. But regardless, they do pick up that round, but like you said, I think it's a little bit too late.
Well, Flowsick is a well-regarded rifler, and he is very proficient at killing quickly, like he just did there. I would like to point out that Kurt Rambis fan club, despite the fact that they are experiencing a huge deficit in rounds, obviously exhibited some good gun skills there. They're not 9-1 by accident. They didn't beat Exertus by accident. They have the ability to hit amazing shots, but the coordination for Reliable and the smokes that are making it difficult for Kurt Rambis fan club to even operate with are just kind of throwing them off their game tonight. Jay Mitchell has a triple, and in the time that I said it, he landed 3 really, really good-looking kills, ending with R-Dub at the very back toward Ivy. 1 left as the Wolf. His feet are visible in the hell position. He gets sprayed down by Jay Mitchell, who looked at him before the Wolf even realized he was being hunted himself. Carl left to fight 2. Arya and Jay Mitchell left on the T side. You know what? The bomb is just kind of waiting. Nobody's going to make a play to plant, but Carl doesn't have to really move, and he's going to get the drop on Jay Mitchell. Is left a one-on-one with Arya, and Arya, who hasn't moved for a while now, who is all in upper, waiting at the top of the ladder, now has to make the one-on-one play. A minute left. Clay, I'm gonna side with Carl on this one.
You're gonna side with Carl on this one? I think I'm gonna go with Arya because he is gonna be in A, gonna be able to get this plant down and get a good position on it and be ready for Carl with that op, I think. Yeah,
Carl chooses to go the most direct route, probably the mistake for most people, but if he had any luck, he experienced it just now. Arya had backed out of the site thinking that I'm going to go play from another position, who could have just stayed and looked at the Z connector. Arya hears the fake plant, fires. Carl gets a nice 3 burst and brings down Arya. I call the clutch, by the way. That defuse brought to you by Kurt Rambis Fan Club. That was a beautiful, beautiful 2-tap. Arya gets blown away. Great shot.
Great half indeed. Well, I mean, not too great for a Kurt Rambis Fan Club. 11-4, not the best you want, especially when you're CT side on a CT side of map. But nonetheless, that was a nice little finish there for it. And yeah, 11-4. You guys have been watching CEVO TV. I'm Klops here with Cotton, and we're going to be moving into the second half here of Reliable versus Kurt Rambis Fan Club.
Yep. Thank you all for joining us tonight. You guys who have joined us before, our regulars, thank you for rejoining us again. Those of you who are first-timers, please give us a follow.
Got some Counter-Strike updates. It looks like U5 did win their match against Complexity 16-14, and then also someone said that iBuyPower just hammered Exertus 16-1. Wow.
Exertus has been experiencing some problems lately, and we just mentioned that Kurt Rambis Fan Club defeated them. We all just learned that iBuyPower just defeated them. They've got a little bit of soul-searching to do. Otherwise, maybe we'd have not learned some sort of mitigating circumstances that changed their fates there. By the way, this is live. We're underway. Crucify lands the first kill. Arya, who is so strong at fragging the first half, has lost his life there. Crucify was caught out in space. Smartly did not backpedal there. I'd like to point out how smart that was, but unfortunately, because he didn't backpedal, he delivered the bomb right into an advantageous CT position, right at the right side of Pop Dog, making it so hard for his teammates to pick up the bomb. If that bomb gets dropped there, Clay, it's nearly hopeless, unless the Wolf delivers the clutch, which he has every license to do.
Yeah, definitely agree. I mean, that's a spot that's easily defendable by the counter-terrorist, but you saw the Wolf pick up a nice kill right there, and he's actually trying to do it again on the Flowsick.
Got 1 on 2, 1 on the far side of the silos. The Wolf knows where he is, and he got pre-fired there. Flowsick has got a chance to bring him down and missed his opportunity. The Wolf will charge him, not deliver a kill. There's the headshot. Unfortunately, Mo was there cleaning him up. It's so hard to isolate a reliable player and not have a teammate nearby to help clean up with an easy layup there, and such was the case for Mo, who had an easy kill after the epic duel between Flowsick and the Wolf.
Yeah, I was going to say that was good heads-up play by Mo to realize that his teammate was getting pushed right there and to come out and take advantage of the fact that he was that Wolf was having trouble finishing off that kill and just to pick it up nice and easy. But that's going to give the round 2 to Reliable, and it's not looking good for Kurt Rambis Fan Club. The next 2 should be able to go to Reliable as well, just based on the fact that they have the gun advantage.
Somebody asked, who is CE? I believe they might be referring to Collector's Edition.
They certainly are, yeah.
CEVO-Main team, who is experiencing some hard times playing against some of the top teams in here, but also a playoff hopeful. 12-4 is the score, and the round is drawing to its inevitable close. R-Dub, sporting his P250, trying to fend off Arya, and will fail to do so, falling victim to his Bison. 13-4, another eco round on the way for the T's, because they didn't get a bomb plant.
No, they didn't, and they certainly do not have enough money to be buying here. I mean, only 3,400. You can maybe get an AK, but you cannot get the nades you need to be effective on train.
So here's one thing that I wanted to point out.
And
Colin fragged so well in the first round. He fragged really well coming out in the door. He only brought down 1, but he did a total of about like 270 damage. The problem with him sitting still trying to hold his position, though tactically correct and controlling his weapon well, he left the bomb out in space and threw away 3 easy rounds that he and his teammates could have built up on and tried to catch up to Reliable with.
Yeah, and they actually did do a surprise buy right here, and it is maybe catching these guys a little bit off guard. You saw Mo do a push up the ladder, being a little ballsy with his SMG, but he got caught out. So that's going to make it an even 4 versus 4 right now, and you see the terrorists are still trying to work inner here as the Wolf is coming out upper, but there's Arya playing a nice position there on the floor, and almost picks up that kill. Does actually finish it off right there, and the bomb is down once again in that advantageous position, like you said, for the CTs.
Carl left to pick up that bomb, has a Galil, thinking, why me? I've got my Galil, and I have everybody charging me. They seem to have an idea of where they are, and I know just because of having watched Reliable quite often, they're going to send the hunting party right here. So the number 4 man, Carl backs up as Jay Mitchell charges him. Jay Mitchell turns the corner, finishes off the job that Flow6 started. 14-4, we're on to the tie points. This is not near our prediction, Clay, but I'm not terribly surprised either way.
Yeah. what you said about the hunting party. Reliable will send the hunting party if they're at like 5 health and they all have pistols.
Reliable is at the hunting party if they have 5 people up and you have 4.
Yeah.
It's a eco round for the terrorists. They're going to have to play for the tie, a long-range tie, probably one for the record books if we're talking about actual comebacks. But they do it all the same to help the process. That bounce smoke there interrupts the back platform of the Brown Hall. That's actually pretty smart. It allows the Opera to step out and not be molested by the person on the left side and just peek the staircase exclusively. Carl comes down the ramp trying to bring down Jay Mitchell, who brought down his teammate. No trade. Jay Mitchell lands a nice double. The Wolf engaging. Doesn't deliver a kill. Will back off. I'm actually stuck in the ground. Oh, no, I'm not. I was just lagging. R-Dub is the last one alive, has his rifle up, but falls victim to the same ploy again. Rush will bring him down, and it's 15-4 onto the game point. Now, Clay, take a look, if you will. Go into free look like we rarely do, and go to the CT side push position at the upper from the upper ramp and look up the Brown Halls toward where the T's come from. If you throw that bounce smoke and it lands on the back platform like Reliable just did, it narrows your shooting lane down considerably. It makes it much safer to push, and that's one meta that we haven't seen very often in this version of Train. Not until literally today. I hadn't seen that today, or up until today.
Did they follow it up with a push though from the Opera? I don't think they did.
I don't know that they did. I think it's because the T side, Kurt Rambis fan club, had the Wolf and Crucify push down the staircase very quickly thereafter. But in the future, we may see something out of that. So keep an eye on that. That's a nice little meta thing that we can learn and take away from this newer version of Train. Flosick stepping out from Z, charging up to the CT silos, the CT side of the silos at the bomb train. 4 alive, 4 reliable. They're feeling pretty good, sporting all the weapons they want, including a double auto, by the way. The Wolf goes down to a headshot by the auto sniper. Rush will bring down Carl. 2 coming down the ladder, and they actually were able to get the best of the defender there. Rush will fall. Colin and Crucify face off against Jay Mitchell, Mo, and Flosick. Colin, the only one left, he's down at 16-4. Reliable takes it in a predictable victory. Reliable flexes its muscle once again and make a case that they will be probably a very healthy seed going into the playoffs.
Yep, just helping secure their seed. We do know that Kurt Rambis fan club is actually still they're going to be in playoffs regardless of how they finish out the rest of the season. So, I mean, they shouldn't take that loss too handily. But I mean, they did. They do need to realize that, hey, there are some really good teams, and they probably need to start putting in a little bit more practice to be better prepared for playoffs.
That's right. Thank you all for joining us. This is CEVO TV. I'm Con, my partner's Klops. Please give us a follow. We've got plenty of new good matches coming up. If you like other games, by the way, follow Play CEVO 1, 2, and 3. That's like Dota 2 and Battlefield and that sort of thing. Plenty of games coming, like I said, including the playoffs. Stay tuned for games over the weekend and at the beginning of the next week. There's going to be a couple of good ones in Week 7. I hope you guys will join us. I think Clay is better at this than I am, so I'm going to let him do it.
Yeah, like Brandon said, we guys hope you give us a follow. We're looking to get that partnership status with Twitch to give you better resolutions. But so please do that. Also check out our social medias, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. All of our VODs and past casts are on YouTube, so if you want to check that out or see any past matches, please go there. Other than that, that's going to be it for us. I'm Klops here with Con. You guys have been watching CEVO TV. Thanks, and have a good night.
Bye.